but he knew that school wasn't going to get him to where he wanted to be in life, so he dropped out in the 11th grade. He later said, "I just couldn't take it. I was into my own little world, doing what I thought was smart at the time." But after dropping out, he started to realize he wasn't exactly moving weight as a drug dealer. He decided that hustling full-time probably wouldn't work out long-term, and to add even more pressure, his girlfriend Aisha got pregnant. But he never had a regular job and had no high school diploma, so he had to figure out how he was going to feed his new family. He'd already started rapping as a hobby when he was in high school, freestyling in the lunchroom and on street corners. So he decided that his only option was to make a name for himself in the music industry. Around that time, he linked up with Chris Black in 01 and started a group called the Cash Money Clique. They also recruited a local producer named DJ Irv, later known as Irv Gotti, who started making beats for him. That's when Jeffrey Atkins officially took the stage name Ja Rule, which was a nickname he got from a friend in the neighborhood. With Irv's help, Cash Money Clique released their first single, Get the Fortune, in 1994.
Y'all want to get mad
that
at me?
single built a local buzz in New York, which helped them make a deal with TVT Records. Another Queens rapper named Mick Geronimo was already signed to the label.
That's why you niggas mad at me all in my comments.
They both helped put the deal together. Even though Ja Rule became famous for his radio hits, Cash Money Clique had a sound inspired by 90s boom bap and G-Funk. After signing to TVT, they released another single called For My Clique, which featured Mick Geronimo on the hook. The track was an underground hit on pirate radio, and even got played on Yo MTV Raps. Cash Money Clique was popping off, and Ja thought he was really about to break into the industry. But out of nowhere, it all fell apart. Cash Money Clique was busy working on an album, but due to music industry politics, it got shelved. Without any income from rap, Chris Black went back to hustling and ended up catching a case that landed him 5 years in prison. That convinced TVT that the group was not going to happen, so they got dropped from the label. That left Ja with no money coming in and a new family to support, so he had to figure something out fast. But even though his first group didn't work out, he still made plenty of contacts in the music industry. He was still tight with Irv Gotti, who had started working as an executive at Def Jam Records. Irv knew Ja had potential, so he helped him secure a deal at Def Jam in 1995. That's when Ja's career really started heating up, and he was working with some of the hottest up-and-coming rappers in New York, who would go on to be future legends. His first single on Def Jam was Mick Geronimo's Time to Build, which also featured a young Jay-Z and DMX. He also spit a verse on the track Usual Suspects alongside DMX, The Lox, and Tragedy Gaddafi. So those collabs helped put Ja in the same conversations as some top rappers in New York at the time. Irv also worked closely with Jay-Z and DMX and was important in helping their careers at Def Jam. That's when Russell Simmons decided to give Irv his own imprint and let him start his label, Murder Inc. When Murder Inc. first launched in 1998, Irv knew exactly who he wanted as his first signee, and he chose Ja Rule to be the label's main artist. During his time with Murder Inc., Ja continued to work with some of the biggest artists in the 90s, including Nas, Method Man and Redman, DMX, and LL Cool J. He even did a hook for Jay-Z's hit single, Can I Get Her? And after just a couple years in the industry, Ja was becoming one of the most hyped up and upcoming artists of the time. He really started to blow up with the release of his first single, Holla Holla, which became an instant hit, peaking at number 35 on Billboard.